Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. We are Millennial Mom. If you don't know who is who, I'm Millennial. This is Mom.
Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, I'm Mom or Kay from Millennial Mom, holding down the fort till Millennial can come back on a frequent basis. So you have me, okay? Hopefully that's all right. If you're new here, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you aren't new here, thank you for subscribing. Everyone, whether you're live or on the replay, please don't forget to hit that like button. And I would like to know your comments or thoughts about the 1,000-pound roomies. What do you think about the episode so far? What do you think about the friendship? Do you think they should be picked up for another season? Because it looks like, you know, there's some things that we're going to leave off with a few cliffhangers. And yes, happy Juneteenth. It is June 19th, so you have the day off. So just myself, so I was happy about that. But just in general, happy Juneteenth if you know your history. If not, look it up. You'll find out some things that are very interesting. So anyways, hopefully everyone got a chance to watch 1,000-pound roomies. Episodes come out on Tuesdays. For right now, I'm reviewing them on Thursday because I know a lot of you stream, so sometimes streaming doesn't play till the next day. And so to give everybody a chance to get caught up, this show is about two besties, Nisha right here and Miss Jaz, who is undergoing possible weight loss surgery. So anyways, so thank you for joining again. We're going to go through the recap and hopefully, you know, not going to keep you too long, just enough to talk about the show and go from there. But what I will say is the show for me, again, this is not a show that I would have particularly have watched on a normal basis. But I'm into this show and I like the fact that it's highlighting weight loss for the African-American Black, brown community and what goes on behind that versus the normal, typical, everyday run-of-the-mill show. So I definitely like that about this show right here. So hello, Miss Tamika. Yes, happy Juneteenth. And hello, the Jazz Vent Show. So I'm already going to drop the link so we could talk about it and move forward from there and just discuss the show. So far, it has me hooked. It's not leaving any cliffhangers, really, at the end of the show. Like, it seems like every week, I know it's only on episode 3, but every week it seems like, you know, we're seeing whatever's happening happen. And then, you know, they will play like tidbits of what happened on the episode before to get us caught back up. So that's what I enjoy about this particular episode. I'm feeling this show. Like, this is something different for me to watch. I know I do the 90-day franchise. To me, 90 days been on so long. It's just like really watching an old friend. And there's a lot of shows that I don't watch, but there's a few that I do, but don't necessarily review. But this one I wanted to give a chance to review, just to do something different on the channel, just a little something fresh. And it's a new summer show because, you know, a lot of shows go on hiatus. So something different on this channel. So I see you backstage. Are you ready to come up? Okay. Hello there.
Hello. How are you?
How are you? I'm all right. And yourself?
I am wonderful.
Good. I see your Juneteenth shirt on over there.
Or,
Did you have the day off today?
I took as my cultural holiday.
There you go. We deserve many more cultural holidays, but that's just
every day should be a cultural holiday.
Every day should be a mental health break based off of what's going on in the world, but that's
Absolutely.
neither. Okay. Anyway, so did you get a chance to stream the show? Did you get caught up?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so anyways, we're back with the 100-pound roomies, Nesha and Jaz. The episode picks back up with Jaz at her granny's house, looking for granny's approval and blessing to get the weight loss surgery. Jaz says in her confessional that, you know, the way it's been her whole entire life, if granny says no, it's no, no matter what it is. And if granny says yes, it's yes, regardless of the fact, right? But if you Granny said no originally, but to the weight loss surgery. But if you noticed when she mentioned, Jaz, that she already lost 40 pounds, that there was crickets. They just sat there and kept eating like, okay, girl. And I'm like,
That's it.
That's it. And at the same time, it was kind of like, okay, so you're going to eat this fish and food anyways while you're telling us how much weight you lost? Because they act like they didn't care. But to me, like, you know, even though I'm not there, you're not there, whatever, like, you can feel her energy, her tension for just being like, you know, I lost 40 pounds. I really can't eat this. I'm on the shot and nobody's supporting me. Like, it literally took for her to say, you know, I got this much weight on me. My timeline is this, even though timeline is up to the man above, not what they read in the book. Okay. Different things like that. For her grandma and her mother to be like, and even Nisha made a comment where it was like, yeah, you know, my mom had the surgery too. So, you know, a lot of things have changed now. And that's true. Medicine has advanced in many areas, you know, so surgery is surgery, you know, most of the time it's safe and there's a sliver where something can go wrong. But you know what? That's just how it goes. But it's just the fact of it took for her to break down and cry to say all her health needs. I mean, didn't they see her come in with the wheelchair? They haven't seen her in years. So clearly she's put on much more weight than they're used to her having on her body. For Granny to be like, well, first mom was like, well, if you haven't, you know, doing this shots and you lose this weight naturally, what's the point of all this surgery? To me, you kind of have to like look past all that to see the size that she is, to see that she needs additional help. I mean, did you get that from her? Like, God, she had to break down for y'all to be like, okay, well, maybe, you know, this is what you want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it just takes a person to break down for the other person to understand what they are going through. And once she broke down, I was just like, you know, y'all not seeing this girl is in pain. You know, there's probably some mental health issues going on, some underlying stuff that she's just not speaking on, you know, because you just don't get this size. And I'm not fat shaming or anything, but you just don't get the size with just eating. I mean, obviously with just eating, but there's something else. So they have to find the root of that. So, but for them not to praise that she lost 40 pounds, because I was like, wow, 40? Okay. You know, that's good. Good. And, you know, that's low key like, okay. Because when she lose that weight, now what?
Yeah, but I just don't understand why they thought, you know, her losing the weight and she's doing it by herself. She's technically not doing it by herself. She's doing it with the shots. You know, I'm not saying nothing against the shots because a lot of people do. Now, some people have gone extreme. I've seen people who don't even look like themselves with these shots. But and regardless, you know, she's in a place where she needs some assistance. And you're right. Just like all these other shows, these other weight loss shows with people over a certain amount, it is a food addiction, and there is something else underlying going on to get to be that way. But in confessional, you know, Jazz's grandmother said that, you know, is leave it to God. Well, she said it before confessional. It's up to God, and you know, it's no longer going to be about her. But she did say, like, Jazz could be as big as a house. Nothing is going to stop her from loving her. And I'm like, you know, again, we're not fat shaming. We're just reviewing the show. Yeah, I got weight on me too, you know, whatever. But I mean, she's already big as a house. You see what I'm saying? Like, she already needs the assistance. So I'm glad she got what she felt that she needed. I just think they said it out loud, but I don't think that's how they really feel. You know what I'm saying? I was hoping she was going to get the surgery, even if Granny said no, because she knows she needs something.
She needs it. She needs something because, you know, even though they, like you said, the book says one thing, but, you know, how many times does a book or doctor say one thing and it's totally different? So, but she just needs to get it off of her just for her personal benefit, because she does have a daughter. you know, and I don't know, who else is in the picture or whatever, but it's like, you got to live not only for yourself, but at least for your daughter.
Right. Exactly. Now, have you noticed, or just everybody in general, live or replay, that Jaz doesn't stand all the way up?
Mm-hmm.
She's either bent over that
She's in
wheelchair.
pain.
Right. She's either bent over that wheelchair or bent over in the hallway,
sitting.
even to get weighed. Only time she's sitting up is when she's complaining in the car or sitting on the sofa. That's the only time, or sitting on the kitchen table chair. That's the only time. No, she's in a wheelchair. That's the only time she's sitting up. And for me, if I saw that with her walking in with the wheelchair and stuff like that, I would have been like, whoa, like what's really going on? If I haven't seen you, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I just noticed that this episode. I mean, I saw it, but I'm like, wow, it's really, really, really affecting her.
Yeah.
Jasmine Show says she's eating no food or protein, so she's losing all her strength. But this was even on the first episode before she even started the shot. She was already bent over, with the chair taken to the beach and stuff like that. She was already in that, but it's worse now. All right. So quick confessional, back at the house, Jaz is still talking about her knee pain getting worse and worse and says, when you lose weight, you're supposed to get better. Your body banging. She says, why am I handicapped? And I typed that, ma'am, you have been over the average size for such a long time. There's no such thing as body banging after 40 pounds now. Come on. Not of that size. You know what I'm saying? There's no body banging,
not at all.
And then if you was already pain in your knees, so I just put it like this. It's not an overnight success, Jasmine shows, you say she seems more bent over to me. Yeah, now definitely she is now for sure. So then
definitely.
So after that quick confessional, Nisha's in the kitchen cooking up some seaweed, saying she's gonna make a healthy drink. I was like, ugh. When I saw that too, I was like,
that was nasty.
First of all, I've never
seen. I thought it was sea moss, seaweed.
Okay,
yeah.
Because I was like, I've never seen brown seaweed, so maybe it was sea moss. So
yeah, you just need to get the stuff that's already made, because a lot of people say that's good for you. I haven't had any, but I hear a lot of people say it's good for you, and a lot of people buy it.
What is that? Is it the kombucha? Is that the drink they talking about? I know it's fermented drink, but I don't know if it's made with sea moss. But it looked like she sprinkled. First of all, why did she pour it in a punch bowl? And two, why did she look like she sprinkled some sesame seeds on top like it was gonna do something?
I don't know what she was doing. Yeah.
So they tried it, they spit it out. I mean, it looked like it was a hard no. No sea moss. Okay. So, but you know what? When you try new things, they don't always go as expected. But
right,
with
he had the wrong recipe.
How come? Right, y'all could have just drank what is that? The apple cider vinegar.
Exactly.
I'm not doing all the other stuff. Jaz, you say you need to blend it with something strong like a banana. I still don't think they would drink it. You know why? Because they used to eating all them snacks.
She could have fried it. It probably would have been fine.
That's defeating the purpose. Even if it wasn't olive oil, that's defeating the purpose. Then after the seaweed or sea moss, whatever they was drinking, tried to debacle, that's when Jaz weighed herself again. And again, she's bent over. I want to know if she's always walking with the wheelchair bent over, how come she don't have like one of those mobility canes to help her stand up? Because I would think that would be better instead of always constantly bending over. Because now to me, it would seem like you're putting pressure on your back. Because now your back and everything, you know what I'm saying? Like you robbing Peter to pay Paul. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to stretch your legs and you always bent over, but whatever.
You don't want to get into that position where now you can't stand up because now you're in pain where you really, after she loses the weight, Because,
Yeah.
we see people that walk over and they're bent over,
Yeah.
because they just can't. So,
Right.
yeah.
Right. So now she's lost a total of 60 pounds. So that's good for her.
Mm-hmm.
Now Jaz is talking about she wants to buy a bed for her 9-year-old daughter, Nana. I want to know what Nana's real name is. Hopefully it's not just Nana. Because Nana,
I don't
Nana
know.
reminds me of, like saying a grandmother's name or something. But she's talking about they share a bed and she can't get no sleep because Nana's rolling around the bed and hitting her all up in the eye. First of all, Nana is too old to be sleeping in your bed.
Yes.
Okay. Now I could see because we know Jaz isn't as mobile. Now I could see them watching. Would you say facts? What's that baby name? I know Jaz, right? I could see them watch a movie or something, and you catch a nap, and you both napping on the bed, but not sleeping in my bed. Okay, because my kids, when they was young, they didn't sleep in my bed. Okay. I barely want them to nap in my bed because we all know kids sleep bad. But at 9, why she not in her own bed? But anyway,
Exactly.
she wants to buy her own bed and stuff like that. But my thing is this: do y'all think Nana is there all the time? You think that's the reason why she'll have her own bed? Because they make really nice blow up beds now, really really nice blow up beds that mimic regular beds and not like old school beds. Because if that's the case, she could get a nice. If there's not enough room in the bedroom, get a nice little blow up bed. Just do it like that. It could be always up, or you could take it down, or whatever. But do y'all think she's there all the time?
I'm sure she is. I'm sure she is.
Because I'm just like, what? No, I just find it unusual to have a 9-year-old in your bed. I know there might be some people who do it, but those seem to be like other folk. All right. So now there's a quick scene of Jaz, Nisha, Nana, and Nisha's mom. Now Nisha is quick to tell us every time she's around her mother that she has this thing, these feelings about her mom, because she is mad at her mom for having her grow up in a cult.
Right.
And, she can't seem to get past that. There's a resentment there. But, she's happy that Jaz is around so that it takes how she put it is like Jaz is her real daughter. I'm like, what does that
That's
even
so
mean?
crazy.
What does that even mean? Jaz is her real daughter. I don't understand.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I could see maybe you would have resentment with your mom or whoever, your mom, your dad, whoever that had you in a cult. It's a lifestyle that you didn't choose.
Right.
But she's 37 now. That was 15 years ago. So there should have been some conversation about it, because it doesn't seem like her mother's in the cult anymore. You know what I'm saying? So, maybe there should have been a conversation. I don't know if there was, but it doesn't seem like there was.
Right.
What do you think about it? Don't you find that little, I don't even know how the words to put it. Not weird, but just, it's different.
It is different. It's a little on the weird side, but yeah, it's time for her. And I'm not gonna say she's ever gonna get over it, but she definitely needs to have a conversation so that she can start healing, because she's not healed. Clearly, she's not healed if it's still bothering her, 15 years later. And for her to say, oh, that Jaz feels like, that's her real daughter, that's a hurting thing. For a child, even though she's in her 30s, a child to feel like their best friend, their mom, think that their best friend is more their daughter than she actually is. So yeah. So she just needs to have that tough conversation, first with a therapist, and then have that tough conversation with her mother, just so that she can start healing from it, because she's never going to be healed.
Right. Jasmine Show says being raised in a cult is just as weird. I mean, it is weird, but I was trying to find a different word. But it's just the fact that, like it wasn't up to her. Like she said, she was born into it. Eventually they left, even though they left when she was older, like in her 20s.
Like in her 20s, yeah.
it's, maybe she's mad about, resent how things she missed out on as a kid, maybe birthdays, Christmas, and just different things, different religions or don't do or something like that. So I don't know. But anyways, I'm glad
I think she's more mad that her mother isn't acknowledging it or isn't as vocal about it as she is and how upset she was. And her mom is not acknowledging her feelings. And she's just like, okay, it happened. We move on. And she's still in it.
Yeah, but her mom, right. And this is why, hey, that's her by her age. I don't even know how to say your name. But hey, how you doing? But that's where the therapist would need to come in. Because maybe her mother doesn't have the same feelings. Because clearly her mother, or whoever joined the cult, they was in it for so long, at least 22 years. That's how, when they got out, right?
Yeah.
So maybe her mom don't feel the same way. And that's where they need to sit down and talk to find out where the resentment is. You know what I'm saying? So even now. But anyways, let's move to Jaz and Nisha deciding to go to the furniture store. Okay. And here come Jaz complaining about that car. Every week she complained about the car. Listen, again, never fat shaming over here. But you can't be upset about the size of the car. What I think that it is her size in general. Yes, she's taller and heavier than Nisha, but I do believe it's all that body pain that she's in. I think that's because she's not used to being mobile, because she's used to being in her bed where she could like roll around or move around left to right. You can't do that in a car. But still, I'm like, I'm not gonna be listening to this every week. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to go, don't go. But anyways, they get to the furniture store, and why? When they walk in, like, oh, it's big. It looked like the airport. First of all, unless it's a mom and pop in a strip mall or wherever, a furniture store, all furniture stores are big. They got the mattress section, the living room section, the TV section, the dining room section, the appliances section. It's just big. What's this supposed to look like?
Exactly.
And then why, whenever you get somewhere, you don't ever want to walk to the destination? I'm like,
never. And I get it. You're in pain. I get it. But it's like, you gotta move around.
Yeah.
That's another thing. You're in pain. You still got to start moving them muscles and start getting that blood flowing. That's why you're in pain. You're not moving enough.
The Jasmine Show says, how can you complain about someone's car? Where is your car? Okay.
No, period.
Every time you get in someone's car, the Uber, everything.
Right.
Jaz gives me mother hen energy when it comes to Nisha. Not just her daughter, but when it comes to Nisha. Like, she wants to be in control. I think I said this last week. She wants to be in control of everything. We do this, we do that, we do this, we do that. Like, yes, they're friends, but it's almost like another mother to her. Like, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, but when they're in the furniture store, the furniture guy he tried to be so accommodating. He was like, well, I could take pictures and send it to you, or we could be on FaceTime. I was like,
that's doing a lot. Y'all better give him a good tip.
Right. So, Nisha went back there and FaceTime Jaz and all that stuff. And why Nisha talk about where the snacks at?
That's what I say. Don't skip over that. Because I was like, you want to see, that's part of the problem. You want all these snacks, a snow cone machine, a popcorn, nachos. I'm like, who? They got them in furniture stores. They don't have like that out here.
Now, I will say, the furniture stores here do have popcorn machines, free soda and water. And on certain days, like 4th of July is coming up, they'll even have like the hot dogs, and it's a promo to get you in, but they have popcorn all the time at all the furniture stores. I don't know what that is about, but they just do. But they don't have no snow cones and no, what they talk about, nachos.
Yeah, they don't have that here.
Yeah,
I mean, I get it. I get it. But then again, I haven't been in many furniture stores. I just go in, buy my stuff, and get out, or see it online.
Yeah, they do though. They do here. But after all those shenanigans, though, they said they bought a bed off Amazon. I said, get off my TV.
After all of that.
After all
they
of
were going to do that anyway. Production need to stop making a mockery out of them. They know they weren't going to buy nothing.
And why is it, have you noticed too with production? Have you noticed that during like when the scenes switch, they have different places like people eating like donuts or
always.
I said they don't have to do all that now. They just do not have to do that. Shady production.
Shady. Definitely shady.
I'm like, this is not necessary, but they
no, it's not.
So anyways,
not at all.
After the furniture store, Nisha says she needs a little break because she's always taking care of Jaz. And so she meets up with a mutual friend of her and Jaz named Bree. She goes, sometimes, you know, yeah, I'm trying to eat healthy with Jaz. I'm like, girl,
stop fibbing to yourself, sis.
Right, stop lying.
You've
been trying to cook a full course, 6-7 course meal the whole time the show been on.
At 8:00 in the morning, honey. Stop playing.
She goes, sometimes you just want a nice greasy cheeseburger. I'm like, you probably had that before you left because that's how you like to eat, right? So anyway,
exactly.
She connect with Bree and, you know, she says she's feel disconnected with Jaz because they're eating buddies, but, you know, because they're used to eating this and that together, but, you know, she's cooking all this food, Jaz can't eat it, but yet she's on the shot. She understands of why she can't eat it, right? But then she, you know, kind of walks back her statement when Bree asked her, well, do you think you're a little bit jealous that Jaz is losing weight and you're not? She said, well, first, you know, I had to think about it. I went back and forth, but, you know, it's just kind of like she, you know, in the Black community, you know, we feed people we like to eat and she's just like upset that she's not eating. I'm like, you can't have it both ways. You know what the shot is making her do. You know, it's making her sick. You know, it's like reduces your appetite. So you can't be like, oh, I get it at the same time, but be mad at her in another breath. I'm like, it can't be both. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think Nisha is necessarily jealous. I just think, for me, I just think that, you know, she's like, if I cook you breakfast, I want to see you eat the breakfast. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. What do you think about that? Because those statements, I don't know.
I think that it's like she wanted to lose the weight, but then she don't, because it's like my quote unquote fat friend is about to be gone, you know, so, and then she's like, do I want to take it or do I not want to take it? Do you want to be healthy or do you not want to be healthy? That's the $1 million question. And then sometimes that's a back and forth, because sometimes you can lose the weight and then that's when everything start, you know, all your numbers start going out of whack, because people think that, you know, I may be a size or two over a 10, give or take, but when they do all of my levels, the only thing that comes up red is my hemoglobin, because I'm anemic. So my blood level is always going to be low. Everything else is in the green. Everything. And I'm surprised my dang old self. So I'm like, dang, if I lose weight, is my levels going to jack up or not?
You never know. Now,
you never know.
Look, I might be a size of 2 over a 12 since you were 10. Okay. But without what's going on inside of me,
right?
I'm in remission. Even when I get lab work done, everything is normal except that one little tick that says, oh, you have this.
Yeah.
Everything. You know what I'm saying? So which is like unheard of. And like I said, even for you, if I didn't mention it to you, this platform, anybody else outside this platform, you would never
know. Yeah.
Because I'm not the stereotypical person that looks like.
Right.
You will never know. So
Right.
it just depends. Everyone's body is different. So
Everybody.
It just depends on what's happening. But
Mhm.
I do agree with you that I feel that she feels like she's losing her friend. But
Yeah.
even though they're both heavier than average,
Mhm.
she also could lose weight too, even though
Yeah.
she's not as heavy as her friend, but they're both in the same realm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the difference is Nisha is more active, this and that, where she feels
Mhm.
like maybe I don't need it as much as Jaz, who's more body is breaking down, stuff like this. So it just depends again on your body. But Bree, she had me cracking up. She was like, you know what, I'm here for both of them, but I'm here for Nisha. So if she ever wants to be, come out for what you say, any type of food or whatever,
Mhm. I'm there. Yeah.
So, and she even mentioned that, she's been heavy since the 5th grade and her family wanted her to lose weight too. But
Mhm.
you have to want to, with anything, you have to
Yeah.
want, and then you have to maintain it, because there's plenty of people who've lost weight and has gained it back, lost weight, gained it. That yo-yo
Mhm.
is not good either.
Mhm.
So even on the shot, whoever's taking the shot, they said, whoever take the shot, once you stop,
it comes back.
right,
and it come back with a vengeance.
And eventually you're going to have to stop because your body is going to plateau. You can't always take it. You know what I'm saying? It's very dangerous. But anyways, so next when we see Jaz, it's actually Jaz and Nisha. Nisha is talking to Jaz about, hey, I haven't seen you eat. How about I make you a sandwich? It's a turkey sandwich. Jaz pushed back like, no. She goes, we can even split it. She still says no. And, Jaz is, feeling there's something going on because I don't see her eat, things like that. So apparently we're going to see a little bit later Jaz's mindset about why she's not. And it comes back to bite her in the butt. But then Jaz has a call, telehealth FaceTime call with her doctor. I personally, when I saw the doctor last week, thought the doctor was a little rude. Needs some bedside manner. I talked about it last week. The bedside manner wasn't there. Sometimes a doctor or a nurse's bedside manner can talk you out of doing something that you really shouldn't be doing. Because I don't need your attitude. So, you know what I'm saying? Because you probably don't want to do it anyways. But the doctor told her right in this instance, even though I think that she has a little bit of attitude, Jess told her she's having a hard time eating and maintaining. She's not taking the protein and her knees aren't, acting up. And I personally think that the doctor maybe should have referred her to someone, an orthopedist or somebody to look at her knees too. Because just losing the weight and take the pressure of the weight off your knees, you still might want to have someone look at it too, because she complained about this seeing you. And you saw that she was like already having a hard time walking in. So it's not just from the weight. So maybe she needs to see someone else too, right? So she's telling her Tylenol, listen, it's just like having a migraine. The Tylenol's not going to be touching no migraine. It's not going to be touching no back. You know what I'm saying? Tylenol just does the basics. It don't be doing what it need to do. You know what I'm saying?
Unless you take multiple.
Once you are past the point of a certain pain tolerance for your body, if you're behind that pain, it don't matter what you take. It's not going to help.
It don't. I'm a living witness to that. If you don't take it once you feel it, and you take something right then and there, because if you're chasing it, it's like you're chasing a car down the street and you're never going to catch it.
Never going to catch it. So the doctor says it's important for her to eat her protein and the supplements and to come off the shots to give the body a chance to catch up. And so, she said, if you don't do that, your body's going to break down and you won't even be able to walk in here. I'm like, she hasn't walked in there yet. I mean, she has technically, but not really. She's really dragging this. She's on the back, not even sitting on the back of a wheelchair. So
and what's happening is that she's not eating, so her body is latching on to what's inside, and that is what's eating away at her. So even when and this is what I had to learn, because there would be times, and I wasn't not eating because I was trying to lose weight, because sometimes you're just not hungry, and so but then when I did eat, it was like your body latches on to that right then and there. And then if you even wanted to lose weight, you can't, because your body is literally latching on to every kind of nutrient because it doesn't know when it's going to get the next one.
Right.
So now her body is breaking down because she's not getting anything.
Right. And this is 60 pounds going forward. Now, not to put me in the mix, but, you know, even for my condition, like whenever I have a treatment, about 3-4 days later, you know, I'm, you know, over the toilet bowl, you know what I'm saying? And it's hard for me to eat. So I made sure I have protein shakes. And even if I sip a sip or two, I need to make sure I'm eating something, because if not, you will end up on the floor or wherever, because your body is like, hey, we need to replace that. And, you know, you need to have certain things to replace it. And this is something that Jaz isn't paying attention to. So anyways, all right. So now the bed is finally, it's time for the bed to be put together. And Nisha is called, and these scenes are out of order. I don't know why they did this, but Nisha's called her friend Joel, or her situationship, to come by, and he does. Now, early in the episode, Jaz asked Nisha, why does she put up with a situationship after all these years? Don't you feel like you should be number one? And, you know, Nisha's okay with giving up a little something every now and then in a situationship. And she says, it's not like that. If you don't mind, I don't mind. And to me, you know, how many years? 19, 20? So it's like right before the moving forward. To me, it's like, did she meet him in the cult? This is what I want to know. Did she meet him in the cult? Was he in the cult too?
Yeah, because she's...
No, was he in the cult?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a good question.
Yeah. So my thing is, like, I agree with Jaz. You're just comfortable. And to me, that falls back of, are you comfortable because maybe deep down you don't want to say that maybe somebody else is not going to like you like that? There's always going to be somebody for you. We've seen different shows where people, you know what I'm saying? Not going to get into it. But you know what I'm saying? Like, why would you continue to put yourself through that?
Right.
And the reason why I say that is because, yeah, he gets the bed done, everything. That was nice of him to come over, and she throws him little hints. But when Jaz asked him about a date, because first she asked Nisha, you going to ask him to take you out? Now, I agree with Nisha. I'm traditional like that. I'm not asking you out on a date. And I do understand closed mouths don't get fed, but I guess mine won't get fed then. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But when Jaz asked him that, he looked at her and it was crickets. I said, well, there's your answer right there. So there's
your answer.
Right. So why keep going down this road? You know what I'm saying? Like, you deserve
so much better, so much more than what he's giving you.
Remember that Mama D song, I Deserve? Right. She deserves. But, you know, to me, if he was really into her like that, why would he have a face of putting you on the spot? Now, we do see next week there's something different, but it was kind of like, I was like, huh, okay, Joe. Yeah. So would that be you? Would you allow a 20-year relationship?
Absolutely not. No.
With no commitment?
No commitment? No. Mm-mm.
Then or now?
No, because that we just FWBs at that point. And for me, and then, you know, this is just me, I just have I have more respect for myself than to just let, you know, somebody just, you know, you want to be with me behind closed doors, but you don't want to be with me out in public. No. Right. No. Right.
After all these years.
Yeah. No.
So anyway, so after that, Nisha somehow gets Jaz out the house. Now, did we see her complaining this time? No, we didn't see her complaining this time, but I'm surprised they went out to a dinner with friends. Now, let me say, whomever the Asian lady was sitting on the side, was she really part of the group? Because she just was sitting there smiling. She weren't saying nothing. Was she part of the friend group? Or was she at another table? Because I'm like, who was that lady?
Yeah, she's the token. You know, it's always one.
So, anyways, I was glad that they got out. But one thing that upset me with this part of the episode was when the waitress comes to take the order and Jaz is going to say what her food order is, what Nisha say? I hope she don't waste no food today. I'm like, that is not even necessary.
Not at all necessary.
You
not
know
at
she's
all.
not wasting food on purpose, right?
Right.
And so why would you say that in front of your friend group? I just was like, that is so rude. But anyways, then the conversation turned into Joel. This scene was awkward for me. First, they're talking about, Jaz and her weight loss. And then they turn the conversation to Joel and, about being FWBs and maybe get you on dating sites. I'm like,
yeah.
Is this what we're here for? So what you think about that was it awkward to you too?
It was awkward. Definitely. Yeah. Definitely awkward.
So anyways, the friend suggests Nisha needs to see someone new as well. And they're like, okay, we're going to set you up on a dating website. And so then she's going through pictures of, the full length pictures. I said, okay, last picture. Oh, she called that her Barbie picture. I said, okay, last picture.
Yes.
So I can appreciate doing you, feeling you, not letting nobody tell you what, when, where, and where, because that's the same thing for me too. But I don't know if I would have showed all that on camera now with my pictures and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't have no pictures like that of me in my phone of myself anyways.
Right.
Look, at least anymore since I've been grown.
I plead the fifth.
I'm just saying. Well, I'm only talking about me. I didn't ask you. You had a Barbie picture.
I plead the fifth.
But still, I just wish that we would have had more conversation with the friends about what was going on in general, about the weight loss, and how can we support you, not don't waste the food and we should put you on a dating site. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that.
Right.
I wasn't expecting that type of conversation.
Energy.
Camaraderie. There you go. But anyways, so now towards the end of at the end of the episode, Jaz and Nisha are talking about in confessional about the dating websites and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, Jaz starts to stare off into camera. So what it looks like, she passed out with her eyes open.
Yeah, or kind of like having a seizure. Because I've seen people have a seizure, a sort of a seizure like that, when they kind of just zonk out.
So, but she was able to respond by shaking her head. What I didn't care for, once they learned that she was coherent and she started to talk, even though it's a slur, a little bit, and she's asking for her food, which is a protein shake. Right in there, it should have been that black screen.
They should have cut her off.
About the medics come, stuff like that. We didn't see her leave. Well, we didn't need to see her leave personally in an ambulance, but she didn't. She didn't, because the next scene was Nisha and Jaz back at home, and Jaz telling Nana she had to go to the hospital. It didn't seem like it was about her passing out during production. It seemed like she had to go to the hospital for the pain she was having in her body. I'm like, what's happening?
That was it kind of choked me up when that happened. And I was just like, oh my God, are they, just like you said, are they going to fade to black? Or, I mean, what? It's just that, with her doing that, and then her taking that shot and her not eating, it's like, ma'am, this is really serious.
Exactly.
You should have been to the hospital a long time ago when you was in that much pain and things of that nature. But I was just like, wow, what in the world is really going on? And then when she said, probably like an Ensure, or one of those type of drinks she probably needed again to get some replenishments. And but yeah, I think they definitely handled that. They wasn't empathetic to the situation. You want views and you want views and you want ratings, but this is really somebody's life, and God forbid that it would have got worse, but y'all really just could have edited that out. I mean, not edited out, but went to black and just
And did the
had,
update.
yeah, they could have just, like they do everything else,
Right,
and
right,
put it
right.
on the screen,
Exactly. Now, I will say this, how should I say? At least it happened, in my opinion, during confessional with production, because imagine if it was at home.
Mm-hmm.
She's in her room all the time. So
yeah,
Nisha's not in the room all the time. So you never know. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of
and
things
who's to say it hasn't happened?
That's true.
And she don't realize it, because it could have happened. And when when that happens, you don't remember. And it's like,
True.
dang, what just happened in the last 10 minutes? I can't remember what just happened. So
that's true too.
It could have been happening.
That's true too. Like I said, that's correct what you were saying. But like I said, but to see the very next scene, her in her room on the bed talking to her daughter, talking about, I'm going to the hospital.
She should have went right then and there.
We should have seen, the next scene should have been, we saw a little clip for next week of her already in the hospital in a gown.
Mm-hmm.
And Nisha talking to us like, hey, I'm worried or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then next scene for whatever's happening next week. Not like, hey, I'm going to the hospital. And like I said, it seemed like it's for her legs and not because she passed out. So I didn't necessarily, or whatever happened to her, I didn't like that. But anyways, next week's episode, we're going to see, Nisha said that Joel asked her on a date, and Nisha says in confessional, either this will be the beginning or, of something new, or the end.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it should have been put up or shut up a long time ago, but
this
is her life. And so I guess we'll see. And then we also see Jaz and Nisha. There's the way these scenes are clipped out with production, because like I said, everything's not like in order, but I still like the show though. We see Jaz, Nisha, and a few of the friends go up to the mountains for their birthday weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, she don't need to be going nowhere.
Nowhere. But then again, she really don't need to be left at home by herself either.
But true. But since Nisha says that, Jaz and her mom have a good relationship, maybe they could have worked something out where her mother could check in on her. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, so if she's in a car complaining she's in pain or whatever, and they get up there, look like she can't get out the car. It's a whole bunch going on.
A lot going on.
She just, like I said, it went from her, whatever happened to her, where she just, blacked out, seizure, whatever, for a few minutes, to leg pain, to now you riding up to the mountains.
Right.
Nah, that's too much. But then, Nisha's upset because she's like, meaning Jaz needs to change her attitude or whatever. And then her friends say that, Nisha, you're a people pleaser. But I'm not sure if they're saying that Nisha's a people pleaser because of the way she's taking care of Jaz, or her relationship with Joel. To me, it could be both.
Right. And then you got to think, when you go into the mountains, you're going to a higher elevation. So I wonder if that is, causing her the pain as well, because she's at a higher elevation.
Well, just sitting in a car longer than going to the beach or the hospital, you have to travel, to go to certain places. And she's just not used to sitting for that amount of time. Say Jasmine show, my beef is that Jaz lets you get to the final destination, then says her issue. That's true.
She does do that.
That's true.
Yeah.
And you also say Big Bear is an hour, at least depending on where they live. That's true. Plus traffic. And like I said, she's not used to sitting that long they got friends in the car now, so she can't spread out. And they're still in that same car. I don't understand why they don't rent a car, a SUV, to go somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
I don't get it.
Or at least a van. They can get a Sprinter.
Right. Listen, and I'm not trying to be funny. It's going to sound funny. I'm not trying to be funny. When Tammy from the 1,000-Pound Sisters was going through her stuff, they had her in the back of the van. Did they not? The truck or whatever with those pillows laid out.
So I really never watched any of these. I've never watched 1,000-Pound Sisters, 1,000-Pound, none of them.
600
This is the first one I watched. I've never watched 600-Pound Life. I seen one scene when the doctor had told the one lady, she said she was hungry, and he was like, "You got 4 days worth of food in you," or something. That was the only scene I've seen from that. I've never watched it but I always hear that they always got a boyfriend, but I've never literally sat and watched an episode or a season. I've always just seen clips here and there.
Mm-hmm. They always have a boyfriend or a husband. That's facts.
Yeah.
But still, when you're over a certain size, that showed that with the doctor, he will bring an ambulance or provide transportation if they're within the city limits. If they're coming from somewhere else, I've even seen people in the back of not the U-Haul truck, but the U-Haul, like I said, the Sprinter vans spread out because they can't sit on the chair. They just can't, you know what I'm saying? To get out. So I just don't understand if they're going somewhere in scenes, why that's not accommodating for her.
I ain't gonna say why, but
I can say why too. But she's so
happy Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth. All right. Well, that's the end of the episode. I appreciate you joining. Appreciate you watching. Like I said, it's different. Just a different summer vibe. Match Me Abroad comes out on Sunday. I think I'll just do a video about that first. And then because the tell-all is Sunday as well for 90 Day. And, we're live Monday. So on the second episode, part 2, then I'll come live with Match Me Abroad because I don't want to overlap. You know what I'm saying? So we can have one like that. So we can all get caught up with Match Me Abroad. So anyways, well, thank you so much for joining. And happy Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth, everyone.
All right. I'll see you on the next one. Have a good evening. Take care. Bye everyone. Good night. Bye.